buy a taxi to thank for your Bravo Liberty status.
Yes, yeah, pretty much.
What was the best thing about this experience for each of you guys? I do think it is more like docuseries to me. Like I watched the pilot, I loved it. It seemed more like a docuseries and kind of like just a returning to like, you know, the good old days of reality TV, like maybe not as much drama as some of the Housewives in like a good way.
Yeah. Can you say the question part again?
Just as far as like, what was the best thing about this whole experience?
Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of us will share the same sentiment, which is that we got genuine friendships out of it. I'm very excited that I have like girls who I can always like reach out to, be it I'm in Paris, LA, New York, like there's somebody there who I can reach out to and chat up. We're there for each other, we're supporting each other. And it's just like really sweet that like, you know, that's just going to carry on regardless of like whatever happens on the show.
And is there going to be any drama? I mean, I watched the pilot, I watched Coming Attractions. It seems like, you know, there's some things that we're going to run into.
Yeah, wrong word in my opinion, but like things, right? Things is a good way to put it. Just because like you and your family fight, like you and your group chat every so often have a little like miscommunication. It would be weird if it went like 100% smoothly the whole time, right? So I think people can look for like relatable headbutting and not like fights or like drama, but just like learning how to get to know each other and understand each other and how we each work, our differences, what makes us alike, what's going to bring us closer.
Well, one thing that I took away from the pilot too is that, you know, all 6 of you are just Francophiles. You're in love with the French culture. Like, what is it about Paris? Like, why is living there? I mean, I've been to Paris many a time, but what is it like living there? Like, what is it about Paris?
There's sometimes when like I will still wake up to this day and I'll be like, oh yeah, oh my God, I live in France now. Like, see the Eiffel Tower is still there and like run outside and be like, bonjour, whatever. I was like, bonjour. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not just hallucinating. I'm not like actually in a psych ward, like, I love Paris. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, people come and they see the romantic, like brief side of it where they're like, oh, I went, it was the most beautiful summer day and blah, blah, blah. And then there's the inverse, which is like, oh my God, the time I went, it was raining, there were no trains and I got mugged. The cool thing about like being an expat is that every day is a different day. And it's you like live here. It's your life. It's hard to believe sometimes, and it's always fun to see where things end up going because you always like end up ending a day way different than you started. But that's like half the journey.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that.
Sorry.
How much help was Anja in kind of getting assimilated? Like, did you guys have a tough time like assimilating to living in Paris? And like, was Anja, I know she's lived there off and on for decades, or at least the last decade. Like, was she a big help?
I have like a support system outside of the friend group, which is my family. So I had my auntie and her boyfriend, and I also had my uncle, and I also have cousins there. So to be honest, like the assimilation aspect of it, I had already, like, I think I had a little bit of a head start, like similar to Margot. But Anja, as far as like places to go, like she has her staples, like she has her brand. And I think that like, it was really good to just like have like a starting point. It was like, Anja's like, well, these are my recommendations. Find your own voice from there. And so that was really sweet.
Who did you guys find to be like the most reliable in the group? Like right now, if you needed something, like you were in a jam in Paris, like out of your 4 other, even each other, like who would you call? Maybe
I would say Anja. Like for me, it's a tie between Anja and Margot because like Anja is super, super, super organized and she has done it all before. Like I remember when I was telling her, you know, like I'm not anywhere close. Like I'm coming up on year 5 here. So like, you know, when it comes to how to order this, how to say that, how to get around town, like that's totally fine. But like if I'm trying to switch visas or get an extension, I'm like, okay, Anja has done this before. But if there's ever like any type of emergency where I'm like, I need a French adult, I'm gonna call Margot because like her parents and family are French. So I'm like, I know you know somebody who knows what's actually going on around here. But yeah.
What about Adja? You know, you said in the pilot, or I think even in the Coming Attractions, you said, I think it was in the pilot, you said, you know, American men want to fuck you and French men want to date you. So talk to us about that. And how are the French different from dating American men?
I mean, there's one big difference between American and European men, and it's kind of like a hood. But real talk, I think that maybe I spoke too crass about it because it's not just American men. I live in New York City. Like it's a different breed out here of people who can be individualistic, or they just see like a quick lay and then move on with their day, which I don't know why I keep making rhymes about it. And I think in Paris or in Europe in general, because I have visited other cities, but Paris, there's like more courtship, and like it's not like, hey, like you want to get out of here. It's more like, oh, like your eyes remind me of the moonlight, or like this, like the smoothness of your skin is so tantalizing. Like they say crazy stuff, and I'm like, why am I falling for this? Why am I falling for this? But it's kind of genuine, and it actually develops into something.
I remember the first time a French guy hit on me, and I was like, it was very much like a punk moment. I was like, you did not just actually say that. And then he kept going on and on. I was like, are you a poet? He was like, no, it's just that your beauty reminds me of the way the waves crash.
It's
like,
right. So cringy, but so freaking flattering.
It's the way you do it, like the WYD.
Well, I was going to say, I live in New York City too, so say no more. I totally understand.
Let's get drinks later.
A little bit. I'm in the Hamptons for the summer, but I'm back in a few weeks. So, you know, New York guys are just, well, we did see in the pilot, we saw like Margaux hasn't had sex in like a really long time. And we see Victoria has, you know, Gabriel for a neighbor, and she also has this girl she's texting. But Adja, you seem to got it going on. I mean, you say you have someone for all of your needs. You have this waiter to give you free drinks, and you know, you have a man for all of your needs. So like, are you kind of like, are you the one that people in this group turn to when they need advice on men?
Yes. I have seen them all walks of life. You can describe a guy in like 3 sentences, and I'd be like, oh yeah, in 2018, I was with this person. He's exactly like that, and this is why he's a red flag. Like I have my own like memory bank, like the Rolodex of sex. Oh, the good rhymes are really flowing out of me today.
Seriously.
I went to the apartment once and I gave you my phone, and you were like, no, yeah, no. And I was like, why are you like saying no to all these dudes? And you're like, okay, watch the guy say yes to you, like instant match. I was like, how did you know? And she was like, let me work. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Who do you think, Adja and Kacey, I mean, who do you think needs your help the most out of this group in the dating category?
So when it comes to dating, I need the most help. When it comes to speaking French, Vic needs the most help. When it comes to being organized, Margo needs a lot of help. Like we each have like our own, it's like this fun little game of tag where it's like, okay, now it's your turn. Okay, now it's your turn. So we each have a particular set of skills. So
for sex purposes though, I think that's kind of hard to tell, since you know, it's been a little while since filming, so I'm pretty sure everyone should be back on track. You know, the winter, it's harder to get laid. Like, you know, it's cuffing season. Everyone's in a relationship. I prefer handcuffing season, which is year round.
Adja, you'd be so happy. I'm wearing a handcuff bracelet. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. There it is.
I can see it. I love it. Well, you know, like you said, some time has passed since the show. So what is your dating relationship status now?
Me or Kacey?
Both of you.
I mean, I can go first. I am single